Hey YouTube, in this video I'm back with another deck profile. So today I'm going to be doing my new updated Ranunculus Ahsha deck. So this is actually probably my favorite Nectar deck, although I like the other one that I built. So the other deck that I will show later is the Maiden of Rambling Rose and Trailing Rose build. So that's the Legion focused Nectar deck. That's not Musketeer based. So I actually have a total of 3 Nectar decks now. Originally, my plan was to just combine Ahsha with these two, but then the deck got too cloggy, and I had a hard time figuring out the lineup. And also because set 4 had a bunch of cards that are Ranunculus support, I decided to just make this deck be a solo show. So Ahsha is basically the main Vanguard that you want to be sitting on the whole game, so you don't need the Legion, and you try to win without Legioning. And also, or relying on that. And also, Nectar has ways of recycling stuff back into the deck now. So, just like Musketeers and Cecilia style, so they don't really need Legion. So, first grade 3 is the main grade 3 for Ranunculus Flower Maiden Ahsha. If the deck is really going to focus on the Ranunculus build, you definitely need to run 4 of these. That's why it makes running the Legion kind of really hard to do. I guess you could fit in like 2 Trailing Rose and 2 Rambling Rose, or even a 9 grade 3 lineup with like 3 Rambling Rose and 2 Trailing Rose. But even then, that is very, I don't know, it seems kind of inconsistent and really unnecessary. So I would just stick with the 4 Ahsha. If you want to run the Trailing Rose build, go ahead and run that deck. I'll post that one later in another video. You can get an idea of how the deck runs. So 4 Ahsha. And then the backup grade 3, to make things simple, 4 Maiden of Frilled Rod. Frilled Rod is actually really good backup Vanguard, mainly because I chose this one over all the other ones they had available. I mean, you could pick the Break Ride, Master of Wisteria, you could pick the Reverse Maiden, or Venus Muse, or whatever it's called. But I really think this is better in a Stride-focused deck. In Stride-focused decks, from what I've learned after play testing a lot of them for a couple of months now, I realized that if you're going to be striding and you want to, if you're using a Vanguard that has a GB2 skill, like Ahsha for instance, limit break is really not needed. So it's not really all that great to mix GB2 with break ride cards or other limit break type of Vanguards as the backup. It's better to just have another grade 3 that has a rear guard effect. So that's why I went with this, because it has a GB1 skill that's active on Vanguard or rear guard. So it helps with the theme a lot in terms of like helping you get like 2 copies of the same name on the field. So that's the grade 3s. I'll just put them over there. Whoops. Next for grade 2s, 4 Maiden of Gladiolus. I strongly believe that for the GB2 decks, it's always best to run 3 to 4 copies of your GB1 grade 2, the one that has the boost. When it's boosted, Counterblast won't do something. So definitely still running 4 of these because I think it's a really good card. It just fits the theme, or it just helps the main Vanguard's skill a lot. So just 4 of that. And then next, 4 of the Maiden of Flower Screen. This was a promo that got reprinted. So now I have access to it because I never had the promo, I didn't bother getting it. But now I have it, so this definitely helps you when you stride cards like Jingle Dragon, for instance, or any sort of effect that requires you to have the 2 or more copies of the same name. This GB1 skill basically clones the name of some other rearguard, or just another unit. You can even clone Ahsha to get the ability off. So 4 of this. And then 3 of this new Ranunculus support cards. So Flower Chamber Maiden, Saliana. So this is good at 3. You can run 4 of this and then 3 of that if you want, but I found this is more useful, especially if you want to get the Jingle Dragon play off, and even the new Ahsha skill off. So 3 of this is good enough. Also because it's Ranunculus based, on the turns where in the games where you had to ride this first, it's kind of bad. So to have this not be able to do its thing, so that's why 3 of that. For grade 1s, 4 Passion Flower because the deck is extremely counterblast heavy, especially since we run Primavera in the Stride deck and we try to get that effect off. 4 Valkyrie of Reclamation, Padamini, because she is the stride fodder and she's a searcher for Ahsha. Like I said, you want Ahsha as the Vanguard, so you're definitely going to want to use this early if you can. If you open up with this and you draw into this, or you have both, you need Ahsha, you can search Ahsha. So, 4 of those, max them out, stride focused. Next, 3 of this new card, Early Flowering Maiden Pia. This is actually really good with the new Ahsha support. Because it does have the Ranunculus support skill, or it has something where the Vanguard has to have Ranunculus in the name. So 3 of it's just really good to push for game, form big columns, and then 3 of the 8K vanilla. So I'm still using 3 of the 8K vanilla because from what I found in Neo Nectar especially, the 8K is extremely good as a grade 1 because it's anti-rush, and if you have to put 2 of them on the field, even when it's a turn where you're not able to get off a stride effect, or even a GB2 skill, 2 of these together form 16k, so it still hits the proper line. So, and I found myself doing that quite a few times, either with Primavera's effect or just something else. So, 3 of this, I still think it's a pretty solid choice. There's a lot of things to choose from though. There's like Maiden of Kana and other GB1 based cards, but I still find the 8K to be the most reliable choice. So that's the grade 1s. For the 0s, 4 of the stand trigger, because this stand trigger is really good in Neo Nectar, especially since your front attacks will usually be pretty strong. So you can swing with a rear guard, or even like a whole 1 column first, then Vanguard second. Knowing you've got stands, you can do that, and you can possibly get like 4 attacks in. If you have Primavera, you get even more. Next, because it is Ranunculus, 4 of the Flower Garden Maiden Millis. So this is the foil critical with the effect for the Ahsha Vanguard or the Ranunculus Vanguard. So because I wanted to max out the capability, just give 4 of these to this. And then 4 more critical, so 4 stand, 8 critical, and then 4 heal. I find this seems to be the best lineup for Neo Nectar. And then the starter is Maiden of Physalis. So Maiden of Physalis, in my opinion, is still, it's kind of high risk, high reward, but the fact that you don't have to wait till GB1 to use it, the fact that it doesn't use any counterblast, and the fact that it helps you early set up like 2 8K vanillas, or your Mias, or any of those things. It helps get them out early, it just without having to counterblast, so that Primavera, the counterblast 3 cost, doesn't seem like it's that steep. So I still think Maiden of Physalis is still the best starter, so I just stuck with that. For Stride, I'm still running the 1 Primavera. There's no reason not to if you have access to this card. Really, only 1 card. 1 copy is enough. Most games you may not even see it, but it's there just to be able to have the capability of getting extra attacks. Still a pretty solid card, hefty cost. Then 1 Multivitamin Dragon, because it's depending on if you're able to set up the board early, you can actually stride this first stride and get like a really good early advantage over your opponent. And then I am running the 2 Arborea. 2 is still solid because it's Neo Nectar. The on-hit pressure is always there. It's a good first stride also if you can't really go into Multivitamin Dragon. So most of the time this will still be the first stride. 1 copy is enough. You could even just tech in like a Blizza if you want, but I found her to be better because she doesn't need to use Counterblast, and the deck is very Counterblast heavy. And then next we have 2 of the Jingle Flower Dragon. Jingle Flower Dragon, I did not have this back when I first did the Neo Nectar deck, but I have gained access to it since then, so I've been using it for like a while now. And I always only had 2, because I knew this would happen. I knew that Vanguard would keep printing other cards later and it would become harder to fit space. So I just kept Jingle Dragon at 2. Because I had to make room for the new card. This is Ranunculus Ahsha. So this is the new stride form of Ahsha. If you watch anime, this is like Tokuha's main stride unit now. It's actually very good in playtesting it. I've actually found it's better to stride this second over Jingle Dragon in most games. But it also depends on who your opponent is. Like, if your opponent retires a lot, you're going to go into this. If your opponent can't retire and all they kind of do is just try to rush, you can go Jingle Dragon, try to rush back. So, the deck seems pretty solid now with the addition of Ahsha as a stride unit and all the other cards that Neo Nectar's gotten all year long, like with the Trial deck, Arborea, the Fighter's Collection Vitamin Dragon, and then Primavera and Jingle Dragon. So that was basically my Ranunculus Neo Nectar deck. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Any suggestions on grade 2, grade 3 lineup, grade 1 lineup. And as always, guys, stay tuned for more Cardfight Vanguard videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.